Hello and welcome to the Magic Minute session on the menu Vendor Invoice Receipts Verify. The purpose of this menu option is to mark a PO receipt as verified without taking it through the accounts payable process. By using this menu, it removes the receipt from the unvouchered receipts report, which is used to balance inventory with the general ledger at month end. An example could be that the PO is old and an invoice from the supplier is not expected. Another example could be that the PO was vouchered in AP without being based on the PO, which would leave it on the unvouchered receipt report until this menu option is used. To navigate to the Vendor Invoice Receipts Verify menu, select the Purchasing Master menu and then the Vendor Invoice Receipts Verify. There are two ways to select the receipt. One way is to enter a vendor to select one or multiple receipts on a selection screen. As an additional option, a pack list reference number may be entered to narrow down the entries that will display on the selection screen. The other option is to enter a specific PO. This PO must be partially or completely received. For this example, PO 630768 will be entered. It is old and an invoice is no longer expected from the supplier. Next, key in the vendor invoice number. Since this PO has no invoice number, it will be entered as no invoice. In the invoice date, we'll just key today's date, again since there is no invoice number to reference. And in the verify posting date, it will default to today's date as well. There is no posting to the general ledger, so this date just signifies the verification date. Press Enter to advance to the next screen. Listed is the PO number, the amount, and the vendor number. Type an X next to the PO to select it and press Enter. Listed are the items on the PO receipt. Enter the invoice amount in the vendor currency and the inbound freight and tax amounts if applicable. An error message displays if the entered invoice amount is not equal to the extension of the received quantity times the invoice cost plus freight and tax amounts. The purchase class field defines the default inventory account for the items received in accounts payable. However, since this menu forgoes AP, it has no bearing in this transaction. Non-inventoried, non-stock, and supply items require entry of a purchase class. Stock items will have their purchase class displayed, but override capability is not allowed. The Verify code field defaults to a V for Verify. Remove the V if the detail line is not to be verified. Each detail line must be verified to close a PO. The code may not be removed if this is the 9th verification for the purchase order. All items must be either received or canceled by the 9th verification. Press F2 to complete the transaction. The end result is the PO receipt will be removed from the unvouchered receipts report. No accounts payable transaction will need to be entered, and the PO inquiry will show the receipt as verified. This completes the session on the Vendor Invoice Receipts Verify menu. Please remember to click the subscribe button on the bottom right of your screen to stay up to date on the latest DPS video and tutorials.